Alright, so we should be jumping right into it. Game pitches. First up is Absolute Momentum.
Yep, so this is High Dev Studios' next big hit here, Absolute Momentum. It's going to be a great time.
Hit me with the next slide whenever you're ready.
Oh, yeah, next slide. All right, so I won't read out the wall of text. Well, actually, maybe I will. But the game idea for Absolute Momentum is basically a Mario Kart speedrunners style platformer game. So it's going to be like similar to Mario Kart, where you're racing friends and you have items that you can like throw at them to sort of try to, mess them up. So basically the setting is that there's like a worldwide craze for speed. Everyone wants to be faster by any means necessary. And if you go to the next slide, we'll see some of the inspirations. Yeah. So it's going to be a 3D multiplayer game. So it sort of has the gameplay loop of like speedrunners or Mario Kart, but the movement system is going to feel more similar to like Titanfall.
I like that.
Next slide. All right, so here is a previous prototype that we made. This was made in last winter break. We spent a month on it. This was actually our first ever 3D project, and also our first ever multiplayer project. So you can see we had a bunch of wall jumping and sliding, a lot of cool movement stuff. It's still really buggy in this version. But,
CS surf vibes.
What was that?
CS surf vibes in the end.
Yep. We're rebuilding the game in Unity 6, so we have to kind of refactor a lot of the code, but development's going well so far. And if we go to the next slide, we'll meet our characters. So we have Baku. Oh, and if I butcher these names, apologies to our amazing artist Philip who came up with these characters. And then hit next. That's going to be Etoile, I believe. And then next. We have Lele, the grandma, my favorite. And Stongo, I think. That's how you say that. So those are some colorful characters. The idea is that those little trails you see, if you go back real quick, those trails that you see coming off the characters will sort of define like what the characters look like. So it's like a heavy like silhouette aspect of the characters, and also just like a signature of how our characters look in our game. As for our MVP, we just want a few things here. So a simple player that can run, jump, slide, and wall run. And we actually already completed that as of yesterday. So that's cool. And then a lobby system so players can connect, one small stage, and then just like a leaderboard or like race system that actually works. And we want an item system with like one item just to test it and make sure that that's good. For stretch goals, we would love to add some additional movement mechanics, so like a dash or a double jump. And we would also like to add a matchmaking system with public lobbies. That would be nice. Obviously, longer maps. We have some really cool concepts for maps, so if anyone wants to see that, maybe we can send it to you in the Discord. And then obviously some enemy bots and a larger pool of items, and hopefully a Steam release similar to Solutions.
What's that at the bottom
and,
there?
Don't worry about that.
Alright.
Okay, so for our game engine, we use Unity. And our artists like using Blender. We're going to be using Fmod this semester, which is a sound engine, basically. And we use FL Studio to create our music. So here's who we need. We need some character and basically 3D modelers. We need people to create concepts for the art of the items. And on the programming team, we'll take anyone, but we really need people who are comfortable or know like Unity dots or Unity netcode with entities, because I think we're gonna, or netcode for entities. I think we're gonna use that. But if anyone is interested of any part of this team, you're more than welcome to join and just send me or drop a message in the Discord. I believe there'll be channels. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and there's our new PyDev logo, if the club hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah. The next step is going to be Aerodash, right? Aerodash, hello. Round of applause.
All right, so my name is Diego, and I'm going to be presenting Aerodash. This is a game we started last semester, but we're going to we're going to try to complete it today. Oh, I'm sorry, complete it over the semester. Yeah. So what even is this? So just a reminder, this is a game where you get to race in your hovercraft through themed maps using gravity and aerial physics, and we may add features to shoot down or knock down your opponents using power-ups. Aerodash uses a combination of drone and aircraft mechanics to create a satisfying, action-packed, and competitive experience. So it's kind of like a combination of drone racing and the type of like flight airplane races that you see with Red Bull airplane. Yeah. So the game is pretty simple. It's W/S to fly forward, backward, E/Q to roll, mouse pan to steer upward and downward, and like I said, the game has drone-like mechanics, and the goal is to make racing as fun and satisfying as possible. And later on, we might have such as flipping, falling, sliding, and other fun moves that we may implement. That's also outside the MVP, the flipping and all that stuff. But I'll tell you what our MVP is going to be. Yeah. So, do we have lore yet? Still no lore, but we'll be trying. We might be getting closer since we already got a lot of progress done last semester. So maybe we might work. We might. I'm considering it, but we're still not sure about that. So last semester's MVP was to create a playable race map complete with a working lap system, 3 laps default, and at least one opponent NPC. And fortunately, we did complete all that. We actually went beyond that by making a bunch of different AI and making a whole GUI system for the race, and also main menu. Yeah, next slide. And so for this semester, our MVP is going to be to refactor the code and to create 2 to 3 complete race maps. And outside of the MVP, we may also consider adding more movement or weapon mechanics, and also more GUI movements. And maybe I'm thinking about doing a car customization feature as well. Next slide. So like last semester, we're going to be using Godot for developing the game. So if any of you are good at Godot development, that'd be really helpful. And we're going to be especially needing a lot of artists to be modeled for today. So Blender is the one we've been using last semester. So if you guys are good at Blender, that'd be really appreciated. And obviously GitHub for collaboration. So here's some of the inspirations that we have for the maps. So like on the left side, you got a bunch of cyberpunk themed maps, and I was also considering about making another style, which is like the 50s sort of Googie style, like the one you see on the top right with all the LA landmarks. And we also got the style in the middle, which is some place that we're very familiar with, and on the bottom right. Yeah. Yeah. So this is some of the buildings that we got for last semester. So on the left side, we got a cyberpunk themed building, and on the right is another cyberpunk themed building, which I actually based off a tower in Mexico City that I've been to a few times. And this is some of the concept art that we had last semester, thanks to Sammy the Spiel Discord. This is some of the drawings for the. Yeah, and then I made that in 3D models. You can see that there's a taco truck, 50s Googie style rocket ship, and whoa.
Sorry, my hand slipped.
Okay, and on top left, you got a bunch of DeLorean-inspired hover cars and stealth bomber. So we're gonna need more, but that's what we got right now. Here's the. Oh wait.
Why didn't it start?
Go back.
There we go.
So this is a demonstration of the main menu that we got. You can see that there's a list of the levels and a map setup. It's a basic menu. You've got the controls there, and yeah. Next slide. And this is a demonstration of the gameplay. So we got a whole GUI system. It's pretty fast, and I noticed it was a lot harder for other people to play, so we may have to try to work on that in the programming to make it easier to play. It'd be a little bit chaotic and dizzying.
I think your FOV is a little high.
The FOV, yeah, it goes crazy. And you can see that you have to fly through the gates to make sure you're staying on track. Yeah. Next slide. And this is some of the soundtrack that we got. We have a lot of soundtrack, but these are the two big ones. This is the main menu theme. And you hear when you open the game. And then this is the racing map we used it for the level that we created. It fits into the Cyberpunk vibe. And yeah, we got IGN reviews. Next slide. Yes. Okay, and so who do we need? We need programmers. We've done a lot of the programming last semester, but there's a lot of things that we have to refactor and be reorganized, like I said. Anybody who's good at Godot programming especially would be appreciated, and whoever's good at making organized, neat code. But this semester, we especially need artists and 3D modelers, because you don't even need to have any programming experience, just build a bunch of buildings or build like a bunch of assets that we can use, because a part of our MVP is to make 2 to 3 complete maps. So the more assets we can get faster, the faster we're going to be able to complete those maps. We just need to send out faster than SpaceX sends out rockets, okay? And we can also have some musicians, even though I've already composed a lot of soundtrack. You feel free to join and create some more music. Yeah, and feel free to join if you're just interested or if you want to help out on anything else. Yeah, thank you.
Dwellers, welcome up.
So my game is called Dwellers. My name is Jack, and this is going to be an Unreal Engine 5 survival horror game idea. Next slide.
You can use the mouse.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So this is the story so far. You're a spelunker, as like a hobby kind of cave diver, and your avid spelunking friend has gone missing. He was last known entering an uncharted cave system, and your job is to go and try and find out what happened to him. So you go and try and find out what happened to him. And you find little notes along the way of what's been happening to him. You know, he's going a little crazy, and it's
sorry.
It's
20 gig.
okay. And as you venture deeper and deeper into the cave, the mysteries of the cave and why your friend went missing start to unravel. And this is the gameplay so far. It's going to be made in Unreal Engine 5 from a first-person's perspective. It's going to have a very simple gameplay loop. The only things you can do against the main enemy, which is called the Dweller, is run, hide, and distract him. You can't kill the enemy can only kill you. Some other elements from the game is going to be you can find notes from your missing friend, and probably some puzzle like cave elements like, you know, being able to like uncover different secret stuff. These are some mock-ups I made in Unreal Engine 5, obviously using free assets. I'm a programmer, not an artist. And this is what the graphics going to be. It can be a little toned down, not as obviously nice looking as that, but you know, it's going to be that perspective. You can see your body, and that's going to be kind of like the cave with a flashlight. That's your only really source of light down in the cave. So, slide. This is some of my inspiration. This is Outlast. If anyone's played that very scary game, I want to recreate the feeling the player has of dread, not being able to fight back against the enemy, only being able to run and hide from the enemy. Some other inspiration I have is from Alien Isolation. I want kind of like the same AI searching thing, obviously not as complicated as Alien Isolation because they have like crazy AI in there, but something simple where the enemy searches for you and you know you feel that dread of the enemy searching for you. Some last inspiration is from the movie Descent. I kind of want the creature to be kind of humanoid. I don't like the bottom right one right now, but I kind of want it to have like no eyes, you know, flat ears, something scary. So when you see it, you're like, oh, I gotta run. You know, it's going to be something that's adapted to the harsh living conditions of a cave, if you can imagine that. These are who I need. So I need 3D modelers. You know, it doesn't have to be realistic, of course. It can be, we can work around like the realism of it, and preferably Blender if you're familiar with that. I need writers to help with the story, give a bit more background onto like who the people are, who you're playing. Audio designer, probably not gonna have too much music. It's more for cave ambiance, like player noises, creature noises, something scary. Any programmer, I use Unreal's blueprint coding, which is a lot more visual way of programming. It's a very nice way to try and introduce yourself to coding. So anyone unfamiliar or familiar, honestly, like I wasn't familiar with it a year ago, and I'm a lot better at it now. YouTube videos are a lifesaver. And animators if possible for like the creature, player, stuff like that. And this is what I want to get done for the MVP. The MVP is going to be very small. It's going to be one tiny cave environment where the player can kill you, and you can run, hide, and a stretch goal would be to distract him with like rocks and stuff, but that's not what we want to get done in the MVP. So the player will be able to crouch, sprint, and hide from the enemy, and the player will have a flashlight. It's not going to be 3D model, just a headlamp you can't see. And the player will be able to pick up and read one note from your missing friend. That's it. Thank you for listening.
Next up is 4 Elements Platformer.
Alright. So, alright, this is my first game pitch. So, yeah. Alright. This is basically a 4-player puzzle platformer, and basically each of the 4 players just interacts with the world differently, and some might even have extra powers. And you basically just have to try and work together to reach the ends. I got some pictures. You got the fire and water not mixing that I'm sure most of us have seen. And also I had these guys. You can double jump to make clouds or shuttle other players across spikes. Yeah, I think that explains it. So I got some, yeah, these are some of the inspirations. Of course, Fireboy and Water Girl for the gameplay. But over to the right, I put, these were some of my inspirations for like the art style. I've been playing Pokemon recently, and also pixel art's been lately been showing up everywhere in Geometry Dash. So yeah, there might be some more that I missed. Alright, and I did this in Godot, and we're probably going to be using GitHub for version control. Beyond that, anyway. Oh yeah, so yeah, I kind of did the MVP over the past couple months because I got bored. And this is just a video of what I have. Yeah. So you gotta use that guy to shuttle across. And yeah, and those pink things are the end goals. I didn't draw them yet. So basically, as you can see, they're basically just having to work together to get to the top, right? Using the stuff I showed you earlier. I'm good at platformers, I promise. Anyway, yeah, that's it. There we go. So, again, I'm already kind of done with the MVP. I put a couple of goals out there. Yeah. And yeah, I kind of want programmers and artists mostly just artists because like you saw those drawings, right? Not that good. And programmers also because I kind of want to have someone to work with. And musicians and sound designers would also be nice. basically anyone can join pretty much. Alright, that's it.
Next up is Chelsea's Smile.
Alright, so this is my pitch for a game idea that I had called Chelsea Smile, which is a mystery solving RPG game by me. Okay. So the game itself, the idea behind it was to make a 2D mystery RPG game that was, I plan to use Godot engine, 4 to 5 levels. It could probably be a little bit less, like 3, but it depends on how production goes over the course of the semester, really. And basically, it's a lot of dialogue between characters, it's finding mysteries, or it's finding clues to solve the mystery of the story itself. Yeah. And so I have 5 characters. There's the 3 main characters at the top, which are the 2 twins and the dad, and Kyle. And then there's the mom, Chelsea, dead, so this is part of the mystery. And then there's Selena. Did I go back? That went back. That was weird. Okay. Alright. General plot that I came up with for this game was that Kyle and Chelsea are parents of 2 twins, Lily and Robin, and early into the game it's revealed that Chelsea dies in an accident a few years prior to the events of the game. Kyle gets blamed for the accident by Chelsea, friend Selena, who's bitter from losing her friend. The goal of him and the twins is to prove evidence that Chelsea's death was in fact an accident to prove Kyle's innocence. Throughout the game, though, it also seems like the 3 of them are being haunted, seeing smiles in thin air, but it ends up being revealed towards the end of the game that Chelsea is trying to guide them towards the truth all along. So there's a little bit of a horror element to it as well that I wanted to incorporate. Story and style inspirations. Omori was a really big one for me, so if any of you guys have played that game, that's fun. I took a little bit of inspiration from Gravity Falls as well, with the idea of like the twins solving mysteries. So that's for story inspiration. For gameplay inspiration, it's also movement similar to Omori and Pokemon. And then I had a dialogue system I want to be similar to like the one for Fire Emblem, or anything that has like character art and text boxes basically, talking back and forth. That's the idea I had for that. So the gameplay itself would be, as I showed before, like 4-way horizontal movement up and down around the map. 3 characters controlled in a group together, Kyle, Lily, and Robin. And varying terrain, map design, traverse on each level. I have a couple ideas for level design as well already. Yeah, and then character interaction, dialogue between each other, and I want the story to be dramatic and make it feel better to find like more information and solve the actual, and get along the plot and solve the story along the way. Yeah. I wrote a main theme for it because I'm actually a musician, which I don't know how to play that on here.
You didn't share it.
Oh, that needs access too. You know what? That's fine. That's not.
Sing it for us. No, I'm just kidding.
Definitely not doing that. Okay, so people needed. I need programmers and developers, level designers, anybody that's familiar with Godot, really, because I'm still new to actually developing a game itself. So anyone that knows what they're doing in that regard, programming-wise, would be greatly appreciated. I do love more artists because we love visuals. Everybody loves visuals. Anyone interested, really, free to join. And then, yeah, I'm a musician, but also anybody else that wants to write music as well, free to join. I'm happy with anybody. Okay. So yeah, the MVP that I had in mind was at most like 4 to 5 working levels with 3 movable 2D characters, items to find and interact with on each level, text boxes and dialogue to talk between people, and just like a really basic short story to actually follow. Doesn't need to be much more than that. Any stretch goals can just add like minor details, added lore to people, maybe a couple other side characters than the 5 that I mentioned, but that's not as important to the MVP itself. But yeah, it's just spicing up the story is really what I was going for there. Yeah.
Feel free to share the music and meet in general.
Yeah, I guess so.
Next up is Solvey Seas.
Let's go, it's back.
Alright, so Solvey Seas is going to be a simple little puzzle game where essentially, let's see. It's very much pirate inspired because I've been loving the Ocean of Pirates for the past like year or 2.
You gonna play the next Yakuza?
I gotta catch up to the other ones first.
That's fair.
So essentially, you're gonna wake up on a boat. You're basically trapped in the brig. You don't know why you're there. And the idea is that the ship is stranded out at sea, and you need to puzzle your way out of the ship and back to land. Yeah, so I've got some other ideas. Essentially, like you wake up in the brig, there's gonna be a little dog there, and there's gonna be a puzzle around the dog. Yeah. Next page. Let's see. So once again, this goes back to the dog puzzle. It's just about how in the world do you get the keys. It could be a little tutorial to see if you can think just out of the box, basically. And here's the dog. I was pretty happy last semester. People seemed to like the dog. So I'll make sure to keep him around. Let's see. And so here's some of the progress we had last semester. So we have essentially a bunch of different like little gameplay snippets that people have put together. So like for instance up here, this is a demonstration of like an old object holding mechanic. Down here is a demonstration of the doors opening. Up here we've got working like menus and stuff. We've got working like seafoam and like waves so far. And then here's the work in progress ship that it'll take place on. So yeah, once again you start off locked into the ship. It's just unlocked basically the anchor, the helm, the mast, all that stuff, so you can just get out of there because you're trapped on the ship on purpose. You're going to be able to explore like a couple little islands. I think there should be ideally like about 3 to 5 modules. Just keep it small. I think I overdid it last semester. I think, for sure. But yeah, basically in the MVP, you should be able to walk around the ship. You should be able to walk through like all the islands and stuff. And I'll do all the modeling for that stuff. Yeah, and then ideally at the end of the game, it would be cool if you could sail the ship, but that's past MVP. At this point, it's not necessary. Yeah, so who do we need? We definitely need developers. We had some lovely developers helping out last semester. And anyone else who wants to help out, by all means, come aboard. 2D and 3D artists would be awesome. I'm really inexperienced with 3D art, which is why you see the boat that I showed in the previous slide, that one was unfinished, because I kind of don't know what I'm doing in 3D. And then puzzle designers, that's kind of leftover from last semester, but if anyone has puzzle ideas, by all means feel free to pitch them to me. And if anyone on the team likes it, I can try to see if we can put it in. And then as for composers, if anyone knows how to do music, by all means, please let me know. I've got someone who said they're willing to help with music, and anyone else who wants to help would be greatly appreciated. And then as for inspirations, CFEs was a huge one. As for the puzzles, Signalis, I like the way it does the puzzles where you go from one puzzle to the next and you kind of explore. Let's see. And that's about it. Thank you guys for listening.
Armamancy. I said that right. Armamancy.
So this is my idea for my game pitch idea, Armamancy. So it's going to be a chaotic, fast-paced first-person shooter with a huge arsenal of guns and skills. Okay, so the main focus, the movement and gunplay should synergize very well and feel like satisfying and skillful. And obviously for that you need a lot of guns, and I plan to make the spells like mainly sister movement rather than like combat options. But the real main idea, you should feel like a badass while playing it, and like while you're mowing down those hordes of enemies. Okay, so for the movement, I'm planning to have air strafing and line popping. If anyone's played any like Source Engine games, or it's kind of prominent in there, it just makes you like kind of have really good control over your character and accelerate really fast. And then, so here's the spells. I plan to have like a fireball spell where you kind of shoot a fireball, and that's going to act like essentially you can like rocket jump like the TFP soldier, just shoot it at the ground and cause explosion, and you can kind of direct your movement after that. And then maybe if I have time, I could add a grappling hook, which would be like a lightning spell. And for the weapons, so far I have a sword, a revolver, a shotgun, crossbow, and SMG. That's the ideas that I have, but it's subject to change. And so for the player, this is the idea I have. Essentially they'll be dual wielding their kind of weapon in the right hand, and they'll be able to cast spells with their left hand. And so far I'm walking to like kind of a belt where it's like has, like let's say like a revolver holder on the right, and then like a sword holder on the left. I just thought that was cool. And then maybe they could have a cloak, but probably not a hood because that might be too edgy or serious. Okay, so for the setting, I kind of don't have that clear an idea. I just want, I'd say I like Victorian, like Gothic or medieval like architecture like for this project, and maybe the world has just entered industrial revolution, so there could be some steampunk like style scenarios, regular guns, and for the art style, like just like retro low poly models and low res textures, kind of like the boomer shooter style. And lots of blood and flashy effects, like ultra kill. And then so here's inspiration. So I have Quake, which was kind of the first like true 3D like FPS, kind of like that style, and ultra kill. We got the TF2 Soldier. This is Dusk. It's another kind of old style shooter. Then this is just kind of like a web novel I'm reading that I took the kind of setting from with the Victorian. And then so for the tools used, here we have, so I'm going to use Godot and probably Blender or any other like 3D editing software. But for the levels, I want to use this, it's kind of a level editor for Quake, and it lets you place like kind of brushes, and it gives you that old like boomer shooter style, and then I can use a plugin to import into Godot, and that's the main idea to get that aesthetic. And it's not that hard, I promise. It's pretty. The learning is pretty easy. Sure. And for the MVP, I'm going to have a few levels. The crisp character controller, like one range, like a projectile enemy, and then a melee enemy. And for the weapons, just the sword and revolver is what I have on the MVP. And then for stretch goals, I'll have like more enemies, maybe a flying enemy, and then the other weapons I mentioned. More levels. The spells, so the spells are not an MVP, but I would like to have those. And then action models for enemies, because they could just be like capsules or whatever in the MVP. And then like actual story mode. So here's what I need pretty much everyone. Like I would say especially artists, because I cannot like do art, and everyone would be appreciated. And I think that's all.
Next up is Combo Breaker.
So, my name is Billy Wynn, and this is Combo Breaker. So just click this.
Yep.
Alright, so the simple and sweet of it is that it's a game where you punch and kick an enemy throughout the stage. The main thing is you can't drop your combo. If you do, you reset the game or the stage. Whoa, crazy, right? But once you finish the stage, you get to break your combo. So the idea is that in order to actually break your combo, you either drop it or you complete it. So the gens for this game were like fighting games, platforming games, and then speedrunning games, which is something that I realize is probably what I want to do with this game, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So, but first let's talk about the gameplay. So for the gameplay, you have a character, you have an enemy, and you have a goal to reach. What you want to do is try to juggle your character, like hot potato, to that end goal. So for this game, the speedrunning element becomes apparent more because you're trying to do the least amount of combos. So, like, say instead of like trying to make the highest number, you're trying to minimize your combos to show how skillful you are at the game. And then the obstacles can be a lot of things, like bouncing off the walls. Maybe you have to break it with the enemy, or you might have to group enemies together. So the inspiration for these games. I don't know if many people know about DFO. I think most people know about DNF. But it's basically a game where you can juggle a lot of enemies with combos. Also, like a lot of older Korean MMORPGs used to have this, like Sword or like technically like remake this. But speedrunning games, as in like Neon White, if you ever played that, it's very skill based, very expressive. You can go through a level like just to have fun, or you can go through a level to just like in a really skillful, fast manner. And then another game that's like also in the same realm is Dust Force. So what was my minimum product? It's basically, I kind of just want a simple combat system for now. The goal is to try to get to the end. You have like maybe one obstacle out for now, and then if you, of course, stop the enemy, it will reset the game. And then the main thing I'm trying to learn from this game is hitboxes. Because I think that would make the game more interesting, is learning about hit delay and how combos actually work. And then it's probably going to be like a platformer. I kind of mean with Final Destination, because it's like a very simple platform. And then from here, more in-depth version of a combat system, like a link fighting system, would be really interesting. Having more challenging obstacles, like maybe like if you have a light and a heavy, this obstacle can only be broken by a heavy, or like maybe a 3-hit combo. And then kind of like a combo counter, but instead it's a reducer. So it shows you basically how many combos you do less of. And then finally, the super finisher thing at the end of the game. So what do I need? I'm very new to game development. I've done maybe like a few games, but I would like to do it in Godot as well. I would probably need animators, because this game's probably gonna have a lot of animations because of comboing. Artists, I'm kind of open to any style right now. I don't really have a vision for it. Level designs for sure, because each stage is probably gonna need a requirement. And then some kind of UI would be nice. These are just some pictures I have. Like this is a like forever loop, and then that's literally just an image of not found, because I don't know how to draw, as obviously, because I use like Courage the Cowardly Dog stock photos. And then this is where you can find me on Discord. This is just like a little joke where like I procrastinated the shit out of this to like literally 5 a.m. today in the morning. And literally I posted in the chat, I somehow finished.
Yeah.
So again, this is something we're going to be setting up later. You heard me mention it. We're going to set up channels for each game pitch, and through that, whoever's interested, they'll react to a role and give them the role automatically. They'll see the channel, and from then on, if the team lead wants to make their own Discord, they can do that and be more organized. But all in all, apparently according to slides, first half will open tonight, so probably everything that has been presented today. And the second half, everything else will be presented on Friday. You'll be able to pick those projects.
First up, we have Into the Dark.
So hey guys, my name is Lucia Maturino, and this is my game pitch, Into the Dark. So Into the Dark would basically be a 2D puzzle platformer, and the story is you play as a little dude who goes on a quest to vanquish his personal demons, and once he encounters his first demon, the demon's actually a pretty chill guy, so you sort of strike up a conversation with him, and the first choice you ever make in this game would either to kill the demon or talk to him. Now, the characters. So, we've got Mo, he's the player. We got Neo, that's him right there. He's the first demon you encounter. Lucas, a dog. And Larry. Yeah. There's more characters planned, but those 4 are going in. So the gameplay would be, fight your demons and return to the light. Puzzles will involve altering the environment to move on to the next area. And when you encounter your demons, you either talk, help them, or fight and kill them. Now, the ending of the game would be determined by past choices, favoring befriending demons instead of actually killing them. Oh, yeah, here's some concept art I made. So, yeah. Yes, more concept art. And then my favorite. Yeah. Okay, so inspiration. Art style and puzzles. Limbo. So the art style I really like because it's mostly black and white. It's pretty simple. And I'd like the game to be, I guess, pixel art. Oh yeah, and the dialogue system, where the expressions are visible and the text box is in the middle. So MVP, like minimum, some basic movement mechanics like walk, running, jumping. Puzzle mechanics, either like 1 or 2 puzzles, dialogue, and 1 cutscene. Stretch goals would be to have more puzzles, get further along in the story, and add another language so you can, I guess, play it in English or play it in Spanish. Tools. So, mainly using Godot and GD script. For art, it would either be Sprite or other programs, maybe, and GitHub to share code. So, help needed. If you're a programmer, musician, artist, writers, you're welcome to join. Please, I need help. Come on, thank you.
Next up, we have Amped Up. We have Plague.
Plague. Yay. Not another board member.
Hello everybody, I'm Arian and this is my game pitch Plague. It is an interactive game and story. And this is art made by Roman. Yay, hi Roman! The summary here, yeah, basically the Black Plague mixed with Papa's Pizzeria. You're a plague doctor named Dr. Graves, and your plan is to make medicine for your dying patients, okay? And it's also an angsty story where you're the bastard child of the king, and he's not giving you the respect you deserve. So that is the lore that will be touched up upon on the stretch goals. This is some concept art made by me and my other artists. Pretty cool stuff. Some more sprites we made of like the creatures that will be in there, and some patients already done. And the gameplay, as you know, it'll be like Papa's Pizzeria, the peak game. I love it. Inspiration. So aesthetics is going to be like Fear and Hunger and the art style. And the vibe I'm trying to go for in the story will be similar to Sweeney Todd. And, of course, gameplay, Papa's Pizzeria, my favorite. The MVP will be made with RenPy, and we'll only be focusing on the first day, which will be the tutorial. So we'll have a beginning cutscene, which will be made like in a visual novel style, and medicine crafting, which will be point and click for the making the medicine and stuff like Papa's Pizzeria, come on. And 2 patients for that day. Ratatouille? Yes.
His name is Remy.
It's Remy. And these are the stretch goals, which hopefully we'll get on by next semester. So planning on having a shop, swamp mini games, random encounters, like you encounter people that want revenge because you failed to save a patient, so they're like, I want you dead. So we'll see. And yeah, build more on the story. Who we need is musicians, writers, and programmers. Please join. Just we need all we can get to make this happen. And thank you. This is my time.
Next up, Lightning Strike.
Hi everyone. This is my game called Lightning Strike. It's cyberpunk sci-fi action horror adventure visual novel. So the game is about Sentra. She's an intelligent, strong, motivated woman who is an evil scientist assistant who was hit by a car and died. And then the evil scientist revived her by lightning and turns her into a powerful cyborg. But now she suffers from amnesia. Before she died and was revived, she had a vision of the world ending from an apocalypse and wants to save the world. But the evil scientist wants her to do his evil's bidding. And as the player, you play as Sentra to save the world from the apocalypse caused by the scientist. She also has a powerful fire lightning sword to like kill the demons and the scientists and all that stuff. She has like powers and stuff. So this is some of the concept art. So this is Sentra. This is her again, and then this is Augustine. Like he helps her in fighting against the scientist. And then this is some of my inspiration. Right there is Castlevania, and this is from Love, Death, and Robots, and Arcane, In the Blood of Zeus, and then Cyberpunk, and then there's this guy named Sam does art, and that's some of his art that I'm inspired by too. And then the game engine I'll be using is RenPy. If I change my mind, then RPG. So the game does have to be finished by the end of the semester. 3 endings done should be fine. A simple narrative, choices, 1 scary song, 1 sad song, 1 happy song. Creating them in menu and songs, character sprites, and background art. And then I need programmers, 2D artists, musicians, animators, voice actors, and writers. But voice acting will come later, so yeah. And then I would want the background art to like look something like this, like futuristic kind of cyberpunk kind of thing going on. Yeah. Thank you.
Next up, we have Hostile Takeover.
Yay. Chupo guy.
That's right. It's me, Mr. Chupo, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, I have indeed. If you don't know, I did work on a game pitch previously in the fall 2024 semester. Went over pretty well. Thank you, Kyle, for that. Make sure to support the Chupo re-pitch coming up. High expectations, pressure. Put it all on Kyle. Thank you. All right. Well, this is my next game idea here. Hostile Takeover. Office-themed RPG and roguelike, which is why I'm wearing this. For all you Discord listeners out here, I came out in a full suit and tie. So, thank you for that. But what's the story? We got this boy, Franklin Murphy. He's the ideal office drone, works 9 to 5, doesn't have any particular hobbies or interests outside of work, doesn't do water cooler talk, only takes 30-minute lunch breaks, 5-minute smoke breaks on occasion.
Does this guy know Stanley?
Yes, he does. But he's a 10 times better button pusher. All right, let me tell you. All right, he's not hallucinating a voice in his head, mostly. Anyway, so he gets canned due to a shift in management, completely out of his control. Whoops, guess you'll have to be fine. Of course, in this world, no job means you die. So he's gonna have to want to get that back. Unfortunately, to get his job back, he's gonna have to literally engage in mortal combat with all of his former managers. As here we have a little bit more lore. The world is an apocalyptic wasteland in which a vile black substance known as chaos has seeped into the earth, causing it to enter a harsh desert state. Literally the entire world is a big desert except for one city walled off from all the dangers in the world. And unfortunately, you need to have a job to live in that city. Big sad, we do live in a society, indeed. Also, there is some lore about the company turning all the employees into robots, but don't worry about that. It was in the contract. You're fine. Right. Gameplay. This is going to be a role-playing game, with a menu-based combat, but active time battle. If you're familiar with the Final Fantasy series, it's like Final Fantasy IV onward. I think most of them tend to do that kind of thing. If you're unfamiliar, basically it's like turn-based, except instead of having everyone waiting their turn, people get like a timer. So they get like 5 seconds, and then their turn is up. So definitely you can get a lot more attacks in if you're fast and quick and familiar with the menu system. So that'll be definitely a big part of the gameplay here. I do want to make it a roguelike as well, so the office spaces will be changing on every run to a series of preset ones. You're gonna find random items and equipment throughout your run. You'll probably die. I love that part of roguelikes, is when you die, and then you might come back and spend some, death dollars on some extra upgrades or better starting armor, stuff like that. Although I think the main way to get better at the game is to get good, right? I think that's kind of the idea of the philosophy behind it. And we have some other mechanics as well, although most of these are stretch goals, of course. We have some basic UI stuff figured out here. This is kind of what I want the vibe to be. Here we have all kinds of kooky little characters and a boy Frank, of course. It's going to be working a bit like on a mana system. So all attacks cost what I call mojo here. And to build up mojo, you kind of have to skip your turn. So if you run out of mojo, you just have to wait, but you get your mojo for every time you skip your turn. Then you can also keep skipping your turn to build up to max mojo and get more powerful attacks, So there's kind of a risk-reward system there as well. There we are, basic menu stuff. I do kind of want this to be the battle menu you see here. I probably should have put my inspirations before these, to be honest, but that's all right. It'll make sense later. Overworld navigation will be pretty simple. It's a top-down perspective, orthogonal movement. You'll have your Frank Murphy here, and you'll walk around. Enemies will be visible and no random encounters. So they will run into you if they see you. They will have a little bit of pathfinding, a little bit of AI there, where if they see you, they run after you, and then if you're far away enough, they might forget you exist. Right? We got some more concept art, more silly fellas and gals, all kinds of people. Doesn't matter what you are. Once you're in the suit, you're an office worker, right? Mm-hmm. There we go. Got some funny ones over there. Some designs for the enemies, of course, infected by chaos. You know, they're going to be kind of spooky, kind of terrifying, zombie-like in nature. Definitely have very radical effects on how they change one's body. We're also probably going to have some roboticized employees on the later levels, but you know. Here are the inspirations here. Now it makes sense. Gameplay-wise, Fear and Hunger. I love the sort of trial and error, hitting yourself against a wall over and over to like finally get somewhere, only to hit another wall. That'd be very fun, I think. Enter the Gungeon, mostly for its roguelike progression, where you get technically more powerful and you know you get better equipment unlocked, but you don't necessarily improve your stats. You know, you're not going to automatically be better just because you played it 10,000 times necessarily. You know, again, you got to get good to get good. And then here we have The Desolate Hope by the Scott Cawthon, and this is kind of where I get most of my ideas about the battle system from. Here, as I mainly want this frantic action. I mean, just take a look at this. Look at all the UI elements here. That's so fun. This game is a lot of fun once you get used to it. And I want that element in our game as well, where you have a lot of options and you don't necessarily know what they do yet. You just kind of have to figure it out. Maybe with some text on the bottom to explain what's going on when you hover over the item. And definitely like less going on, but you know, still that frantic sense. And then, of course, the vibes and tone, Cruelty Squad, and Suits, a business RPG. A lot of corporate humor, a lot of dark humor, a lot of, you know, lol, I want a KMS, you know, because I hate my 9-to-5 job and my wife, lol, got him. Husband, too, right?
We're inclusive here.
We are inclusive, all right? MVP is pretty simple. Combat, just being able to attack after a certain amount of time, get that active battle time mechanic in there. Definitely the weight mechanic to build up mojo, to build up a single attack and a strong attack. That's all we need right now. We don't even necessarily need the enemy to attack back, of course. And the overworld, we kind of already did the overworld, actually. Thank you again, Kyle, everybody. Get a round of applause while I load up this video real quick. God damn. Beautiful. Collision. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. Now that's an MVP. Thank you. Once again to Kyle for doing that. Very gracious of you. Let's see, it always gets messed up. So how are we gonna build this thing, right? Godot, pretty good. I do want to work with a mix of 2D and 3D assets, so I think Godot is probably a good choice. Depending on the team I get, if we're going full 3D, might switch over to Unity, but you know, Godot is pretty good. It's a solid engine. Blender for modeling, again, I kind of want to do like a faux 2D look with 3D models. At the very least, the environment will be 3D and the characters will be 2D. That's kind of the vision I have. I definitely love working with the mixed mediums. And then, of course, later on, we can surprise the player by showing like a conspicuously 3D model in the battle or something like that. Procreate, the other digital art tools, mostly for character design and art. I want to, just like Chupo, I prefer a sort of hand-drawn style. And this time I am hoping to go for that sketchy look I have in my own illustrations. There we go. The team I need for the MVP, mostly just programmers. That's fine. If you're familiar with Godot, that'll be fine too. That's great. Fantastic. But of course, to make the whole grand vision and to reach most of our stretch goals, we're going to need artists, modelers, writers for lore. There's a lot of lore. I have a good amount of it figured out, but I obviously would love some feedback and some new ideas. Oh, and dialogue as well. There's going to be dying NPCs you can talk to, and they say funny things. They say funny things all the time. You know, hooray! I love having my soul crushed in this amazing job that I spent 10 years on to only not get promoted. And thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation.
Next up, we have the train. Not another board member.
Oh my God.
Board members, am I right?
I'm always saying this.
Who needs them? Here you go.
Who needs them?
You'd be surprised.
All right, so we've got the train. Very original title. It's a work in progress. So I'm just going to be going over. It's going to be really kind of a simple thing. I don't have all of the vibes and everything completely planned out. In terms of what I want the game to kind of look like, I'm thinking Wild West. Think the very popular gunslinger, so on and so forth, and also like a fantasy kind of vibe. Thinking like D&D. The main idea, gameplay loop. If you've ever played the game or seen or heard about the game Void Train, that, but without all of the really bloated survival elements, because it's a train. You don't need survival elements on a train. Instead, you need to protect your train. So we're just going to have basically a train goes down a railroad track, and then you're going to have to protect the very front of the train, so on and so forth. So in terms of the MVP, we have to make it so you can defend the train really fast, from enemies that are coming at you. Player can defeat these enemies. The player themselves may be able to die or whatever. And then if you don't succeed in protecting your train, it gets destroyed and you lose. Stretch goals, we want to have different kinds of enemies and varieties in terms of, when a wave summons or spawns, you want to have not just the same exact enemy. Objectives on the length of the train, so the player actually has a reason to move around to the different carts and not just on the main train. And then maybe you can upgrade it, like a roguelike. Yeah, we love those here. Unity, that's what I'm going to be using. That's what I have the most experience in. Blender for the 3D models. I have the tiniest little itty bitty amount of experience with Blender. So if you are familiar with either of those, or you're unfamiliar with either of them but want to learn, you can definitely join in. And I have absolutely no idea about music or sound effects or anything like that. So I'm welcome to whatever if you are interested in joining in and making Wild West music. So going a little bit further into that, for programmers, anyone, I have ideas that could be more complex, and if you have lots of experience with Unity, you're welcome on board. If you have no experience with Unity and you have no idea what you're doing, but you still want to take part in the project, I can definitely set you up with a few ideas and get you, the ball rolling with you. 3D artists, anything helps. Like I said, I have no experience with Blender, so I'm really, really bad at it. But, the more the merrier. And then I have someone that I might know that is going to be willing to help with music, but I don't have anything for sound effects, and I'm sure more musicians the merrier. And that's about it for me.
Next up is Chupo.
Hello, everybody. This is the repitch for Chupo. If you don't know, we pitched Chupo last semester.
Microphone's over here.
Oh,
thank you.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Is it working?
Probably.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. So this is Chupo again. We pitched Chupo last year. If you don't know, we pitched Chupo originally as an arcade 2D shoot-'em-up game. But as of this semester, I've made some changes to the core gameplay, or at least the plans of the core gameplay in the future. So here's the idea. Chupo is a wave-based top-down shoot-'em-up game with now added roguelike elements. Chupo is a sociopathic fighter jet plane who wants to kill everything in his airspace. And so there are waves of enemies that come down from the top of the screen, and he shoots them and kills them and murders them. Your goal is to defeat enemies, get coins, and buy upgrades using chests, which may fall from the sky or something. I'm still figuring out the details on that part. Let's see. So this is the art style. Most of these sprites are by our artist Chell. Big thank you to Chell. This is just the general vibe that we want the sprites to give off. We want that cartoony kind of line-arted, hand-drawn look. So if you're an artist with a experience in cartoony characters, then this is the game for you. And here's some more concept art by both Jacob, the original pitcher, and Chell. Oh. Well, I was going to show off a video of the gameplay, but I guess I messed up. Okay, so here's some new inspirations for the project. Risk of Rain 2 for the roguelike elements. I want Chupo to be able to kind of move around and navigate in the airspace and pick up chests that are lying around, similar to Risk of Rain. Cuphead for the art style, kind of. Toho for, you're right, hold on. Toho for the bullet hell elements, because I want Chupo to be a very bullet dense and enemy dense shoot 'em up game. And Galaga and Stratos Patrol for the normal shoot 'em up elements. So how will Chupo be made? Chupo is currently made in the Godot engine. Our artist uses Procreate for the character sprites, but you're free to use whatever you want for the art or the music. So for this semester, we already have our MVP from last year, but for this semester, I was really hoping to get some more zones and environmental types. Sorry. The goal is 5 new zones, but even just 1 new zone is sufficient for this semester. I want at least 1 boss for the original zone from the first semester's version, and I want 5 new enemy types for the new zones. And also, very important, I want upgrades and chests for this version of the game. It doesn't have to be chests. It could also be like a shop menu thing. We're still figuring out the details for the roguelike elements of the game. And so some stretch goals after our like base like MVP for this semester are going to be a combo or multiplier score system, which lets you rack up continually rack up more score or coins as you kill more enemies without letting any escape. A high score system, which lets you like see on the leaderboard like how well you're doing. Enemies that can shoot. We don't have any enemies that can fire projectiles yet. An upgrade system, aka the items. Improved player and enemy sprites. We actually don't really need to improve on the sprites. That's fine. And sound effects, music, more background art, and maybe animated sprites. So the biggest thing I want to emphasize is that we really, really need more team members this semester. Please, I really don't want to make 20 new enemy types by myself. I am one of the lead programmers. Chell is the other programmer. I really don't want to do it all by myself, please. And we also need cartoony and background artists for our sprites and musicians. Yeah. Thank you for your consideration.
Next up, we have the internship.
Hello. You might know me as John Vertex. I'd never pitched Vertex. I just was always here. But now I'm pitching the internship. Let's go. So what even is the internship? So the internship is a point-and-click horror mystery game where you play as a new intern named Winona Fielding at a tech corporation. You need to do your job. You need to correspond with an informant, and with only that way can you uncover the conspiracy hidden between the company's facade. Also, wait, shit. Oh, oops. The art was by Aaron, my bad. Okay. Okay, but like what? Okay, but like what does that even mean? So, the internship is a point-and-click horror game, mystery game, inspired by alternate reality games, where the player must utilize different websites, applications, emails, and more on a fictional operating system to slowly uncover a hidden conspiracy involving a globe-spanning tech corporation. So the full game would take place over a week, Five Nights at Freddy's style, where each day the player is given a limited amount of time to manage the tasks assigned by their supervisors, and also to delve into different sources to gain more information about the company's misdeeds. The game would also contain some like management elements where like you have to strike a balance between like doing your actual job and then also just like looking at emails and websites, basically. Oh, sorry. Okay, inspirations. Analog and digital horror. I have many opinions about how the state of analog horror is lately. Hence, it's not good. I don't like it. But I want to do something better than that. So, yeah. Alternate reality games. Does anyone know what that is?
The Intruder.
Yes. Basically, yeah. So it's that. I really like just the concept of like having to look at like different sources of information to try to like solve a mystery. I'm too chicken to do a real one because then that would require me to buy a website domain, and I don't want to do that. So we're gonna do a fake one instead. I have no mouth and I must scream. AI bad boo. Portal mostly just for the vibes and the like labor law violations.
Let's go.
And the Truman Show, story reasons. Don't worry about it. Oh, also, I literally bought House of Leaves today. People say if you like ARGs, you'll like this. So I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. Okay. There's one more inspiration. Guys, I don't like the tech industry. I don't know if you guys could tell. I don't like AI. I don't like spyware. But when you're upset about things, you can make art about them, and that'll make you feel better.
This
club supports video and stupidity. Alright,
Ignore that. Ignore that. Ignore that.
What I miss?
Okay. Current progress. We actually have been working on it a little bit. I've gotten off my ass and started doing a little work, but most of it has not been me. Thank you to our team so far. But don't let that make you think we don't need more people. The next slide is kind of scary. At least I thought so. So, boo. So we have some more lovely art by Aaron. When they sent this, I like jumped out of my chair like Mel Blanc, Looney Tunes. Like I had my eyes popping on my head, but it's very good. It's very unsettling. I'm gonna let that play for a couple seconds. Just let it simmer. Okay, that's enough. More art. We have some app icons. It's giving Mac. Yeah, and we have some possible spoilers, but I thought it was cool, so I put it anyway. And on my side, not much. Oopsie. Yeah, so you can. I made an options menu. Like it works. I couldn't show it, cause then the stream would stop. But it does work. Like you can change resolution, not the volume though, and then you can like close it. But you can open and close apps. Wow, that's very minimum. I got busy. I'm sorry.
Goated.
Okay. Or was I? I lied. I have been doing stuff. This is quiet.
Is this a cutscene? Wish it is a cutscene. I thought it was like a school 2000 like YouTube.
Dude, it's Alan Wake.
Ah, man.
So foreshadowing.
That never comes up again, by the way. Nope, don't play it again. Don't. Fuck. Okay. So, that's the intro cutscene, by the way. So I lied. I have been working on it. So development, actually making the thing. Okay, so this is the MVP. So an operating system where you can like move a mouse, that's already there. I did that. Originally, I meant to delete this. There was going to be there still is going to be an email app where you can kind of like, it's like a dialogue system. I might merge that with like something below because they do the same thing. But what we will have is a web browser app where you can navigate like a fictional quote unquote website. So an internal like tracker. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. I'll figure it out. Will like take note of like what pages you have seen, and then that will like affect like the story of the game. And then like a Zoom-like call thing where it's like a timed dialogue system. So it's kind of like your like superiors are like interviewing you. So you need to like answer their questions in a way that makes you seem not suspicious. And also write the thing. This is a game where very much like the story informs the gameplay, so I think it's important that we like have that done. Stretch goals, like your job. That's the stretch goal, your job. Yeah, as like a mini game and maybe like a couple more applications. I haven't really thought of any. The only other one I thought is like a fake chatbot. I'm not putting ChatGPT in that. That's stupid. But like a fake one. Okay, what do we need? Writers, God, please, please. This, like I said, this game is very much informed by like the actual story, and it's like, how do I say this? I need help, basically. Yeah, it's a very convoluted story, and I need it to make sense. Artists, we already have some art, but I very much appreciate some more. Plus UI designers, I didn't really know where to put that, but like if you can do like a corporate art style, that would be great. What else? Music. It's not really a big deal. We don't need music, but it would be nice to have like something in the background so it's not complete silence. And programmers. That would be nice. Just so we could have like more gameplay in our game. Because right now it's kind of just like it's an options menu right now. What's the engine? Real Vertex heads would know that we actually started in Godot, but then I changed my mind and wanted to do Unreal. Go ahead. Okay. But no, I'm back. I'm back to Godot, my beautiful princess. We're back. Yeah, it's in Godot, basically.
No, it's still true. It's still true. Can't change my mind.
Okay. Oh, hold on. I forgot we don't do that anymore. There we go. What are we learning? I want to be better organized. I didn't update this slide. Maybe that's a sign. Better organization, better time management, better team leadership. I need to get better at telling people what to do. How to actually use Git, because I know how to use it, but no is in huge air quotes. I'm not very good at it. How to write like a good story, and how to use Godot control nodes. But I have been learning. It totally works on different resolutions. Trust me. And that is it. If you have any questions, boom.
Next up, we have, hopefully I pronounced this right, but this CacoDemonoMania.
Have you never played Doom?
CacoDemon.
Yeah.
That's CacoDemono. Okay, this is my game, CacoDemonoMania, or as I'm gonna call it, CDM, because that's just a lot easier. In case you're wondering, it is a real word. I looked it up, I looked up unique English words, and I thought this sounded cool, so I was like, you know what, that's gonna be the title. I don't know how accurate it is for like what I actually want to do, but it's close enough. So, what is the game? Basically, it's a top-down pixelated RPG with action and puzzle elements. A quick 2-sentence summary of the game is: the human race is under the totalitarian control of an emperor who chooses who lives and who dies, and only you can harness the powers of various demons and put a stop to him. Very, very unoriginal, but I liked it, you know. And then this is kind of just saying the same thing, in a lot more words. I'm not going to read all of it, but basically, it's an action RPG with like puzzle elements, kind of like how I would say like the 2D Zelda games are. Basically, you just like are gonna have to solve puzzles. You're gonna like meet these different demons who have like different powers, and basically that's you're either gonna use those powers to like fight other enemies or to like solve puzzles and whatnot. So my primary inspirations in terms of like themes and vibes are Coraline and Yume Nikki. Basically just like they have this weird like uncanny valley sort of feel that I really want to like implement into my game. So just like having it be super weird. Yeah. And then secondary inspirations in terms of gameplay is literally just every single like RPG Maker game that I could think of, or also any sort of like 2D RPG, I guess, just in general. It's not going to be made in RPG Maker. It's going to be made in Godot, but I just thought like a lot of these were sort of my main inspirations in terms of like general gameplay ideas. So what's done so far? Unfortunately, I recently caught a curse called employment, and it has taken away all of my free time. So I've only managed to make like one character sprite and movement. This is our main character over here to the left, Hill. If you're like a pixel artist, I would really love for you to join and redesign her, because I'm not too big of a fan of her, of this current look, I mean. And then, yeah, my walking. So for the MVP, what I'm thinking, I just kind of like, at minimum, I want to have like 1 to 2 areas or like levels that are fully fleshed out. So it'll include like all the text, sprites, sounds, abilities, whatever. And then beyond that, just add more levels, I guess. Nothing too fancy. So who's encouraged to join? Godot programmers, of course, because that's going to be our engine of choice, just because I feel like it's what I'm most comfortable with, and it offers a lot of like flexibility. Artists, if you're okay, so ideally I would love primarily like pixel artists to join, but if you are experienced with 2D or 3D art, you're also more than welcome to join, because I was thinking it actually might be pretty cool if like there's kind of like an Amazing World of Gumball sort of situation where you'll see characters that are like, one's pixelated and one's like a 3D like giant monster or whatever. Level designers, sound designers, creative designers, if you want to make like, come up with puzzle ideas or just come up with any sort of ideas. Even if you just want to join, like, you know what, I don't mind if you just want to be emotional support. As long as you're on the team, that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's about it.
Next up is me.
Another board pitch?
Another board pitch? Not another board pitch. Alright. So I don't know, because this was actually last spring, so I'm not sure if you guys remember. But you're welcome, Nathan. Copyrighted music, let's go. So this is Machine Citadel repitched. You guys remember when we were having our meeting about how to do a pitch? I gave like my reenactment of my first try. So there's like a few things that I'll kind of be going over again, since it's going to be the same thing. So it's going to be made in Unreal Engine. What's the game? It's a steampunk style. It's going to be a first-person shooter because we're not doing third-person. Game where you take control of an objective and defend against waves of enemies long enough to destroy the tower's production capability, which is just like the lore reason for doing it. The gameplay, it's a wave defense first-person shooter action game with enemy horde. The style genre is a steampunk, industrial, and a mix of fantasy. This is the video I originally posted. I even got a hat to match the guy, but for more of the actual style inspirations, because we don't have the environment made yet, I'm looking kind of like at Dishonored, maybe Bioshock Infinite, same thing. I still haven't played it. I have it, but I haven't gotten around to it.
Bloodborne, bro, Bloodborne.
I'll never play Souls-like. I'm too broke.
I'll help you with that.
For other gameplay inspirations, I was thinking something more along the lines of Warframe or Left 4 Dead, if Warframe was like in first person, to where you do have those hordes of enemies and you have like limited resources or limited sandbox and a pretty cramped map. The original idea for like the map is to push to a location and then defend it, so you know that there's a lot of maps like that in the Left 4 Dead campaigns. This is just reiterating what I just said, so I'm probably going to skip this slide. But I do want to make the enemies a little bit more dynamic. So there'll be like weak spots. You won't have to traverse the map to be like get high ground, so it's easier to hit the weak spots, conserve ammo, that kind of deal. So my original MVP for last spring was a working combat system, an enemy horde system, something to defend. If the thing breaks, the game ends. And yep, I hit all of those. Thank you. So moving on from what I accomplished last spring, this is the intro we made as like our little trailer for it. Our nice little silent film. We didn't add audio. But I think like corporate welcome videos from like the 50s or the 60s. With a little bit of subtle foreshadowing.
Watchdog.
Machine Citadel. My slides aren't done yet though. Stop clapping. I still have like 5 more of these to go. Yes. So the game engine, as mentioned, we're doing it in Unreal Engine 5, the best game engine. Again, how do people want to use Godot? How do you even say, is it Godot or Godot? Like, come on, they haven't even decided. Get out of here. Unreal Engine. Goals for this semester. So since I already have the original MVP, and also I need to fix this. Goals for this semester would be a scripted level, so more of that Left 4 Dead kind of thing. An actual story or lore, so a reason for the player to be doing what they're doing. More engaging enemy AI, because right now the AI just goes straight for the objective or straight for the player after seeing it. It doesn't really exist. A little bit of refinement of gameplay, because right now I just have like the core like features, like I can run around, shoot, reload, pick up ammo, but I want to make the gunplay actually be fun. A save system, because right now it's just you play and then it resets. Story elements, so that goes back to story again. A bigger weapon sandbox. Right now we have a pistol, a shotgun, and a rifle. Kind of need a little bit more variety. More enemy variation. So instead of just the one guy with a shooting stick, I need big guys, little guys, fast guys kind of deal. Let's add some polish to my game. Hear from our past unplayed employees. They love Machine Citadel, and you will too. Go ahead and join our pitch. Totally love this game. So, since the MVP and the core foundation right now is done, I'm just looking for level designers, AI programmers, which is mostly just logic. So, you do have like these node systems you have in Unreal Engine, so you don't need to do like hard programming. It's more of just those things are like see guy, make a choice, that kind of thing. Story writing. Audio director, because I already have a pretty large library of audio at my disposal. I just needed someone to help me to put it together. So it's not, you can make, if you're a musician, feel free to make stuff for my game as well. And 3D artists, modelers, and animators. The last one kind of wanted to kill me after I kept asking him, hey, make this complicated, guy for me. Rig this up. Do it. And I'm like, nah, they don't want to do anything now. So this is the credits for my first semester. You can kind of see Jonathan has his own game pitch, which is nice. He presented on Tuesday. And Josh/Hosh, he graduated a while ago. Joe's my fiance. Here's the concept art gallery that we have for our game. So this is the Rebel, David Bowie reference. It says Ripple, another music reference. JoJo reference. This is Bad Robot. This is I just came up with this, plus Joe designed it all. You have the UI, more examples of our UI. It's very industrial. Here's the concept art for what we want the main enemy to look like. No.
Sorry, go on.
Josh was our 3D designer, so this is examples of the stuff that he made after seeing our 2D concept art. We think he actually did a very good job. None of these have animations, by the way, so please, if you're an animator, 3D, join me. And more of the 3D renders of it. More of a concept art of like the kind of aesthetic that's like in the main room. And here is a brief video of the actual gameplay, which I will also speed up. This should have audio. Oh, the music's gonna be loud. I'm gonna have to turn this down. got the classic primary secondary weapon system set up. Skip ahead a little bit. Yeah. Just know, this is very sped up. The game's not this fast paced. At least not yet. I think Unreal Engine would die if I made it this fast paced. Another example of the other gun. And we do have Easter eggs. Literally Larry eggs. And that's my pitch. I'll probably post this on my channel if you guys decide to join, but thank you. Heathen, where's your slides, by the way?
I forgot to send it to you guys.
Send it now.
Yeah, another board member. Can you believe it? That was like 5, 8, 7. How many board members do we have? I don't even know. I don't know. I can't count.
I think 6 of the 19 pitches are you guys.
That's weird, bro. Why do we do this? All right. Welcome back again to Heathen. This is the third time I'm repitching this. But this time, you know, I decided to get some sleep for once, and I realized I've been focusing on the wrong things. So, it's a little rescoped. So, at the end of last semester, I felt horrible because I hyped myself up and everybody else even more. And I was like, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. It's finally going to get out. I'll get to move on to another project I have an idea for. I will not be repitching. Get a load of this guy. I've repitched, I say, to whoever's still in my Discord server. And everyone's like, oh my god, we got to do this again. So, for anyone that's not entirely familiar, Heathen is a 2D side-scroller Souls-like, much like something like Blasphemous. But I wanted to put some Sekiro elements into it. So there's going to be a whole structure, posture bars, mechanics. You're going to have parrying, you're going to have dodging, and it can't be a Souls-like game without it being difficult, but rewarding. Lore, you know, you could read this for yourself, but point is, it's a work in progress. We have a little bit of it down, actually a little more than usual down, more than enough for an MVP, but this is largely a stretch goal. So what have we done so far? This image returns yet again. So these are the old concept sketches in art. If you've seen me pitch this and repitch this slides look very similar to you. So here's the actual concept art of the main character that I drew the night before the very first pitch, and his cool ass sword, which looks weird because I need to practice drawing coiled weapons a little later. Some concepts. I don't think this looks but bleep that out, Nathan. It'll probably move differently, whatever. It's a concept art. And at some point last semester, I was like, hey, why don't we try to do this pseudo 2D, 3D thing where I make it in 3D and then we turn it into 2D sprites. So this was kind of going to be the gist with like its own custom little light warp going on. And this is kind of how far it got. And there was a little bit more. Solomon worked with me on this. I have not shown his work off here. But unfortunately, this is kind of scrapped because, again, I think I lost focus with this idea. So I've went back to the drawing board with a sprite. But it was a lot of fun making this. So whoever was here at the spring banquet last time, this got shown off on my presentation where I was being, oh my god, I could not deliver an MVP and I feel really sad. The never before seen sprite of John Heathen himself. Well, I actually started working on this. So this is our first sprite, almost complete. Sword's not quite there. All I had to do was open a sprite. Can you believe it? Here's one of my concept artists, Sofa. I don't know if they're still around. I won't be real with you. I haven't seen them communicate. Probably if they're not around, I don't blame them. I feel like I've wasted people's efforts, but here's some of the great stuff they've done. So this is all of it lore related. These are the gods and so on. Really great artwork, by the way. Holy shit. Here's some artwork of possible knights that we'd have going around as enemies or friendlies to some degree. Bunch of weapon stuff, bunch of undead. Great stuff. Here's some of the artworks Aaron did last semester. Also incredible stuff based off of the lore. I really like this guy. It looks like it's, I forgot the name of it. It's one of those Devil May Cry characters with the big ass scythe. Some more things. Executioner looking ass dude. Looks great. I would definitely love to use some of these. Thank you, Aaron. Oh God, I'm killing this guy's thing. So writing, it was mostly just me and Lou. I don't know if you guys know Lou. Probably don't. I have no idea where he is. Did he graduate?
No, he's here.
He's still. I haven't seen him in forever. We send each other Instagram reels and do not talk. We love Lou. He's goated. But unfortunately, because for the sake of focus, writing is on hold. This is the current state of the game. The programmer Juniper took over all of the main stuff. And we have the basic fundamentals down. Like, this could be an MVP pretty much. But, you know, I want to add some flavor to it and make it look a little less simplistic. So the forms are down. All we have to do is fill it in and make it look nice. So I already mentioned this. Heathen's inspiration is something like Blasphemous, but you got a bunch of other stuff stylistic and gameplay-wise. Sekiro, Sifu, Dark Souls, Prince of Persia. And these are kind of the elements I want to introduce. Wall running might take a step back on this because it's a 2D game. How do you make that? It's possible, but it'll just look nice. So how is Heathen being made? You saw this before. Godot, A-Sprite, and GitHub. And using the indomitable human spirit to finally bring this goddamn MVP out. So the MVP is currently, we want the playable character. We're almost there. Combat P state that can delegate it to stretch goals. We can just actually make it look like you can fight. I've cut down the enemies because again I scoped down the MVP because I do want to get an MVP out, and while I do think I can lead this time, I'm trying to gain my confidence for that a little better. So maybe one enemy type. We haven't started working on this. Boss fight with several health bars, something that doesn't really attack you. I haven't started working on this. Basic platforming, you saw it in those GIFs. You can jump and dodge and move around. And death, respawn, score loss, that's part of the main loop, so it's probably in progress. Stretch goals. I ain't reading all that. So the dev team I may need 2D artists and or animators probably to help accelerate the pixel art process because I'd made that one sprite of Heathen in my spare time. And it takes a little bit more than usual to make some pixel art because you got to be pixel perfect if you want things to look nice. Programmers wise, I plan on programming. I think I still have Juniper on board. They communicate in the Discord. So we might do one or more. Again, if you join, ask me what we got because I'm still trying to figure out the work delegation a little bit better. And audio engineers, honestly, I could shift that over to stretch goals because I could probably use stock sounds for the MVP. As for the actual stretch goals, all of this, but largely ignored. So there it is. That's Heathen repitched yet again. Spring 2025 this time. Again! Join at your own caution.
If I recall, that is all the pitches for this semester. So thank you guys so much for joining us. As usual, on Discord, there will be the Join a Team channel. It will be appearing tonight. It will have the Discord message in it. It has all of the different team roles in it. You just need to react with the corresponding emoji, and you'll gain access to that pitch team. From there, you guys are free to make Discords or whatever you want to communicate. We just use those teams just for posting stuff for when we do team check-ins. Thank you so much for joining us. We just have the same.